Very good morning, everyone. My name is Smith Singh. Guys, today I'm going to talk about domain name system. What is domain name system? So in this topic, I'll not talk what types of DNS server, what types of records, but I'll talk how DNS server work. Okay, so let's start. So first thing, what is DNS? The basic intro. So DNS is a service which resolve name into IP and IP into name. You can also say that DNS represent a namespace. And in the next options, you can see I have mentioned zone, delegation, queries and responses, forwarding, server, host, zone. I'll talk all about this, what it is, in the next slide. You can see, as you can see, this is the picture. Okay, here is the client, and this is the primary DNS server of this client. Okay, this is the server, forwarder, root, hint, com, Microsoft, and everyone. Okay, so what happened if the client make a request for its local? Suppose this system, this person is trying to communicate with srv1 dot contoso.com. Okay, so suppose it's sitting in the organization, and this is the it's a local DNS server, or you can say authoritative DNS server, and the record exists here, and this system is this user is searching server srv1 dot contoso dot com. Okay, so what happened? Suppose it types srv1 dot contoso dot com. So what happened? So once it raise a request or try to access srv1 dot contoso dot com, so its system will look into the cache whether this user has accessed before or not. If not, then what happened? This system will send the request to its primary DNS server, and then primary DNS server will check what kinds of information are you looking. So it says I'm looking srv1 dot contoso dot com. Okay, so the record contoso. First of all, this DNS server read, okay, contoso dot com. Yes, I host this zone. Okay, what is your query? It says srv1. Let me verify into my zone. So in the zone, it verify, okay, SRV1, yes, I have the record. What happened? This DNS server will respond to the client with this IP address. And now client will communicate to the this server. So this is the very simple process of the communication of the name resolution. And do you know once client make a request, what kinds of query is this? This is the recursive query. Okay, and the answer, once it find the answer from the primary DNS server, this answer known as authoritative answer. Okay, and here this is the zone. In this scenario, this is the zone, and since it respond to the client query directly from its own, so this is known as server hosted zone as well. Means a zone a zone which respond or host a server information, that is known as server hosted zone. In the second scenario, guys, I'm going to talk about how what happen if record doesn't exist on the primary DNS server. Okay, suppose in the next scenario, what happened? Client make a request and trying to access technet.microsoft.com. So the same thing happen. It will look into the cache. If information doesn't here, then it will send the request to the it's a primary DNS server. Now primary DNS server read what is your query? It says technet.microsoft.com. It says, oh, I don't have this information, but I can help you to find this information. So in this situation, there are two options. Either this DNS server will respond to this client with authoritative answer or decline, I don't have information. So another way, if this DNS server is not hosting any like Microsoft.com record, so what happened? It will either forward this query to its forwarder or directly connect to the root end server and get the response. So it's up to your organization how your organization set up the DNS. Okay. In many cases, what happen if you have set up the DNS forwarder or you are directly communicating to root, so it will connect to the root. Otherwise, it will send the request to its forwarder. Okay. Now, once it sent the request to the forwarder, so this query from client to DNS is known as recursive, and from DNS to forwarder is also known as recursive. Okay, so now DNS, the forwarder DNS look the query. What is your query? It says technet.microsoft.com. This DNS server says technet.microsoft.com. Okay, so technet.microsoft.com, I do not have any such information, but I can help you to find the technet.microsoft.com record. So what this DNS server will do? So as a practical scenario, if you say there are lots of sites available in the market, right? And every day we are accessing so many sites. Okay, like Microsoft, Facebook, Google, Yahoo, Bing's. Okay, so many sites. Okay, so it's not possible to keep the record of all the sites because it's not my job, right? I can keep the DNS record of my organization. And for other DNS server, what I can do, I can forward the query. I can forward the query a responsible DNS server who can give the answer, or a server who has every information. So in the world, there are 13 root in DNS server, basically who has the information of all public DNS server. Okay. So what happened? This forwarder will, okay, technet.microsoft.com, I don't have information, but I know a server which is root in server which can help to me. So it will send the query to the root end server. So root end server read the information. Okay, what is your information? It says this forwarder says technet.microsoft.com. Okay, technet.microsoft.com. I actually do not know who is the technet.microsoft.com, but I know the com. If you look into your query, so there is mentioned technet.microsoft.com. It read, okay, I know to the com. Com maybe have information of Microsoft. So what it can do, it can say, I have a delegation of com. I'll refer you to the com server. You can communicate to the com and ask whether he has Microsoft information or not. So it will respond to the my forwarder and give the information of com server. My forwarder, what it will do, it will connect to the com server. Hey com.com server, do you know the Microsoft? So this .com will listen. Okay, what is your request? It says technet.microsoft.com. So it says I don't know the technet, but I know the Microsoft. There is a delegation I have configured of Microsoft. What it will do, it will give the reference of Microsoft.com. It respond back to the forwarder, and forwarder got to know the Microsoft.com actual DNS server. So what happened? It will send the query directly to the Microsoft.com. And Microsoft.com will say, okay, what is your query? It says technet.microsoft.com. Okay, so I am the Microsoft.com and you are looking for the technet. Let me verify in my zone. It will check, okay, I have I am hosting this technet.microsoft.com. So it will resolve the name and give the IP address of technet to this forwarder. Okay, so this query is known as iterative query. When forwarder connect to the root and then root give the reference, then forwarder connect to the com give the reference, Microsoft give the reference. So these queries known as the iterative query. Okay, and here if you see the dot root is holding the com information as a delegation. So it forward all the query to the delegation, not forward, actually give the reference to the delegation, and com is holding the information of Microsoft. So this is also known as delegation. Okay, so it gives the reference to the Microsoft.com. So in this scenario, the other thing is, so you can see, so root has the delegation of com has delegation of Microsoft. So this is the delegation. And zone, you can say Microsoft.com. This DNS server is responsible for Microsoft.com. So hosting zone of Microsoft.com. So this has the zone. Also, it has the technet information. So you can say it is a server hosted zone. Also, this is the query and response, you can say. So this is the query response. Once forwarder get the response from the Microsoft, I have the technet.microsoft.com. So what happened? Forwarder will respond to the DNS1, and then DNS1 respond to the client. And in this response, what happened? Forwarder will cache this information, and DNS1 also cache this information. And now client get the response of technet, so it will directly communicate to the technet.com and access the technet.com site. Okay, so guys, this is what forwarding from primary DNS server, the primary DNS server to the forwarder is the forwarding. Query and response, client to primary DNS is query and response. Query and response, you can say from DNS1 to forwarder is query and response. Forwarder to the root com Microsoft is the query and response. Okay, so in this slide, this is how the DNS actually work, how the query process work. And in the next slide, I'll talk about the delegation. So one thing as we talk in the last slide, so root has the delegation of com has the delegation of Microsoft.com. You can also set the delegation in your zone as well. Suppose there is a zone, there is a subdomain or another domain in your organization which is hosting cd.contoso.com. Okay, and the user from contoso.com frequently accessing the server from cd.contoso.com. So what happened? Either you set the DNS, this DNS server information of this client system, or you create a delegation here. You create a delegation, put the delegation CD and give the name or DNS server information, this DNS server information. Okay, so what happened? So whenever this client trying to, suppose this is the PC1, take an example. This is server 1. Okay, and when this client try to access pc1.cd.contoso.com, so what happened? It will send the request to this DNS server. And this DNS server in this situation, it will never forward the query or never look to the root in server. What it does, it will say, oh, what is your query? It says cd.pc1.cd.contoso.com. It says, okay. So Contoso, I am the contoso.com, but for the CD, I have a delegation here. So delegation, it means there is another server where I can refer you and you can directly talk to it. So what happened? It will refer to this DNS server, get the response and give the response to the client, and client can communicate to this server. So this is the delegation you can configure. It's a very simple. And if you guys want to know how to configure the delegation, please comment on comment box so that I can make the video for the delegation. Okay. In other slide, guys, this is the another scenario. Suppose you have a load balancer, which is this is the user inside sitting inside the organization. This is your preferred DNS server. Okay, you have a load balancer. There are 3 application server running under this load balancer. Load balancer name is cloudx.contoso.com, and this load balancer is accessible from the inside the organization and for external user as well. Okay, so user sitting in the organization has the preferred DNS information who is actually hosting this zone information. So it will talk to this server and it will resolve the name and respond to this, and this server, this client will communicate to the load balancer. But what happens if there is a user sitting outside the organization on the external, like public area, and trying to access the cloudx.contoso.com? So what happened? How will this user will access this cloudx? Okay, so will you allow any external user directly resolve the name from your preferred DNS server? So remember, the preferred DNS server or your this DNS server not preferred, this DNS server, this is the primary DNS server. Okay. So will you allow any external user to connect directly to your primary DNS server? If yes, then you are creating the high security threat. So primary DNS server is basically holding the writable copy. If this is the suppose a trusted user is simply accessing and resolving the name and accessing the services. But what happen if there is any hackers trying to access your server and like take the control over your primary DNS server and delete all the records? Then what happen? Okay. So it will very critical situation for your organization because every users is trying to access application with the name. Okay. So if hacker hack your DNS server and resolve like delete all the records, like create mess on your DNS server, so what happened? So you will have the trouble. Okay. So in this situation, what you will do, what is the best practice your organization follow? In most of the organization, what I have seen, they use the read only DNS server. So read only DNS server they configure as a front end. Okay, as a front end. And so read only DNS basically a mirror or replica of primary DNS server. And there is one web application. So read only DNS server, it has a record, but it can you cannot create any record here, right? So whatever record is there, you can read it. It will resolve your query, but no modification is applicable here. So what happened? So I'll create a read-only DNS server and I registered into the ISP or the public DNS server, my read-only DNS server name. So what happened? Once client send a request, so it come to its own ISP DNS server or its preferred DNS server, then query will come to the .com or from the root to the com. Okay, and then com give the reference of your contoso.com. It reach to your read-only DNS server, and then read-only DNS server will read, oh, what is your query? Cloudx.com. Okay, I'm hosting cloudx.contoso.com. So it will resolve the name from here, give response to the client or it's a DNS server. And from here, what happens once it receives the response, it connect directly to the load balancer server. So yeah, of course, there are some security layer configured in your on premises how to access this load balancer. But basis on this query, it will connect to your load balancer and access the application. So guys, always remember whenever you want the external user to connect to your DNS server or resolve the information from your DNS server, whatever the public information you are hosting, so make sure you allow external user to connect with the read-only DNS server, not directly with your primary DNS server, because primary DNS server is hosting a writable copy. So guys, that's all for today, and I hope you enjoy the video. And in next slide, I'll talk about the Route 53, the AWS DNS server. Okay, so guys, if you like this video and if you think it is helpful for you, so please share this with your friend and also subscribe my channel. And also guys, do not forget to comment on the video, and if you want to learn anything new, please comment on video so that I can make the another video. Thanks for watching guys.